All right, let's dive right into this explainer. If you've ever felt totally overwhelmed by a massive problem staring you in the face, well, today is going to be a real game changer. We are going to build a toolkit of 7 distinct mental models that will basically transform you into a highly capable master problem solver. And to guide us on this journey, we're actually going to channel the innovative genius of Nikola Tesla. I mean, think about it. Inventing the alternating current power system wasn't just about tinkering away in a lab. It was really about seeing how applying the right mental frameworks can completely optimize decision-making. And honestly, that is exactly what we are going to do together today. So we'll break this explainer down into 3 main phases. First, finding the absolute truth. Second, strategize and prioritize. And third, execute and keep perspective. Kicking things off with Section 1, finding the absolute truth, diagnosing the core issue. And that brings us right to our very first model, first principles thinking. Imagine taking a highly complex molecule and breaking it all the way down to a foundational quark. That's what we're doing here. This method is absolutely perfect for innovation and product design because you are boiling problems down to their most fundamental truths. You don't just accept the surface level reality. No, you dig deep. To pull this off, you've got to ruthlessly cycle through these 4 steps. First, you identify the problem you want to solve. Then, you break it down into its fundamental pieces. Third, you intensely question and challenge your assumptions. And finally, you create a new solution from the ground up. Basically, you just refuse to stop until you have questioned absolutely everything and only the pure truth is left standing. Now, what if you're dealing with persistent, nagging issues like customer complaints or annoying system failures? Well, then you need our second model, Sakichi Toyoda's root cause analysis. I absolutely love this approach because it hits on a hard reality. Most problems out there don't actually need more effort. They just need a better diagnosis. You literally cannot fix what you don't truly understand. So, by defining the problem, identifying possible causes, validating the root cause, designing the solution, and then gathering the data, you end up uncovering exactly why something happened, not just what happened. And this is exactly how you prevent that exact same failure from ever rearing its head again in your business. Okay, so the crucial final point in this diagnostic phase is applying our third model, Occam's razor. This is all about streamlining your strategy when you've got multiple explanations floating around. Like, did aliens come down in a UFO and burn the campsite? Or was it just a rogue spark from a campfire? When faced with 2 equally good hypotheses, you must always choose the simpler one. So when you list out all the possible explanations for, say, a dip in performance or a weird data glitch, apply the Occam's razor. Just ask yourself, which explanation requires the absolute fewest assumptions? Once you spot it, act decisively on that simplest viable answer. It cuts through the overthinking so beautifully. Moving right along to Section 2, strategize and prioritize, formulating a brilliant strategy. Now, for your brainstorming sessions, team strategy meetings, or honestly even complex conflict resolutions, Edward de Bono's 6 Thinking Hats model is just invaluable. It's brilliant because it forces you and your team to deliberately switch between different modes of thinking rather than just messily mixing them all together and getting nowhere fast. Here's how it works. You define the decision, and then you deliberately assign or rotate these perspectives one at a time. You cycle through all 6. From the yellow hat of positivity to the red hat of emotions, the white hat for data, and the black hat for caution, ensuring every single angle is explored. Then, you just summarize the whole shebang under the blue hat of process control so you can walk away with a crystal clear action plan. All right, now to truly optimize your systems and scale your operations based on that plan, we've got to apply Vilfredo Pareto's legendary 80-20 principle. The whole goal here is simple, but man is it profound. You want to identify the small number of inputs that create the vast majority of your results. It is honestly kind of staggering to realize that a mere 20% of your effort is actually driving a massive 80% of your results. It really puts into perspective that most of what we do all day long is just noise. So to actually harness this, simply list out your activities, measure their real outcomes like revenue or engagement, and isolate that golden 20%. Once you find it, you double down heavily on those specific activities and you ruthlessly eliminate, automate, or delegate all the remaining clutter. Just get rid of it. And that brings us to Section 3, execute and keep perspective, taking action while maintaining emotional control. In highly competitive environments, the kinds that require strategic pivots or rapid crisis response, John Boyd's OODA Loop is going to be your ultimate tactical engine. It's a continuous loop that's literally designed for rapid learning and immediate decisive response. So, you constantly orient yourself by analyzing the context and your own biases. Then, you decide on the best course of action. Next, you act, executing incredibly fast. Finally, you observe the resulting facts, gather the data, and immediately loop right back to the start. By cycling through this faster than your competition, you will completely outpace your obstacles. But hey, hold on just a second. Are you maybe stressing over a harsh client email right now? Or maybe facing a really tough setback in your business? Before you burn yourself out running that relentless OODA loop, let's just take a deep breath and address the heavy burden of daily overthinking and business stress. This is exactly where our seventh and final model, the 5x5 rule, comes into play. It acts as this brilliant, incredibly calming framework. It helps you focus your limited energy only on what actually matters by forcing you to just pause before reacting impulsively to difficult people or stressful situations. You can instantly reframe your anxiety by asking this one simple question every single day. Will this matter in 5 years? If the situation won't matter in 5 years, well, the result is completely simple. You move on without overthinking. You literally just do not give it more than 5 minutes of your precious mental space. Which brings us to our final section, your next big decision. So you now possess a complete, incredibly well-rounded toolkit. You've got 3 models, first principles, root cause analysis, and Occam's razor, to help you find the absolute truth. You have 2 models, the 6 hats and the 80-20 principle, to formulate and prioritize your strategy. And finally, you have 2 models, the OODA Loop and the 5x5 rule, to flawlessly execute while keeping your sanity totally intact. Honestly, the only thing left to ask is this. I want you to think about the challenges sitting on your desk right now and ask yourself, which of these 7 mental models will you apply right now to completely dismantle your biggest hurdle today?